It may have taken a while to get here, but the 52nd Daytona 500 is in the history books, and the biggest single race trophy in NASCAR goes to Jamie McMurray. He's now one of just 34 drivers to win this trophy, and today it was all about pageantry, potholes, and patches that preserved this finish. Welcome everyone to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, and what a victory lane it is, and perhaps one of the longest Daytona 500s ever. NASCAR was going to do whatever it took. Extra attempts at a green-white checkered finish. We got the green, and now Jamie McMurray is a Daytona 500 winner. When you think about where he was 1 year ago today with the question of whether or not he'd be driving in the Sprint Cup Series, and now he has the biggest win of them all. Hello everybody, I'm John Roberts alongside of Kenny Wallace and Kyle Petty. Right behind us here in Victory Lane is the car of Jamie McMurray, his first race with his new team. And what a result. Good move?
You could not ask for a better Daytona 500 race, fans. You asked for it, you got it. We fixed the track twice. We made sure we got the race in, and it was an incredible finish. I mean, you tell me right now, a better Daytona 500 than this. It just keeps getting better, Kyle.
The start times have changed, the finish times have not. Let's be honest. But anyhow, that aside, you know, I sat back there in the back and I thought, why are they fixing these potholes? Okay, why don't they just call the race? That's why they don't call the race. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And let me tell you what, Jamie McMurray just kicked the fat lady's butt. He's sitting here with the trophy.
And you know, all I can say is I'm thinking about fans right now, because for years you're like, we want these races to finish. We'll finish them the very next day. Race fans, this race started at 1:30. What time is it? There's the crew chief, Bono Mannion. He is pumped right now.
There's no feeling quite like winning any race, but when you win the Daytona 500, it is one for the ages, one for the history books, and Jamie McMurray's first one is one he certainly will never forget. Remember again, we talked about the potential demise of this race team a couple of years ago, that it might not be around, that Jamie McMurray might not be around, and here they have persevered and gotten the biggest trophy of them all.
JR, you just reminded me something. Isn't this Earnhardt Ganassi?
Yes, it is.
Teresa Earnhardt is in Victory Lane.
In the Daytona 500.
I forgot about that.
And that's amazing. And I'm going to say this. You know, we talk about power plants, and I think these guys were off a little bit on engines and stuff. Okay. Harvick, he wins with an Earnhardt Ganassi with those engines. Okay, where did, let me just refresh my memory. Where did the engine for the Ford car that Harvick Racing runs that Tony Stewart drives, where does it come from?
It comes from Earnhardt Ganassi Racing.
So they've been here 3 times this week, right there. That's the engine plants. That's a big statement this year, saying that.
And I just seen Richard Childress's Motorman walking into Victory Lane. I'm thinking, this is not Richard Childress Racing, but Kyle, you're right.
It's a piece of it.
It's a piece.
Earnhardt Ganassi Motors in Victory Lane all week long.
Yes.
So many pieces have to come together to win any auto race, but to win the Daytona 500, especially when it's stretched across the course of 1 hour and 40-minute delay. I almost said rain delay, but it was a patch delay. It was due to the rain down the road a couple of days ago. Another 30-minute delay where the drivers had to get out of their cars. The fans who hung in here were treated to a heck of a finish, but there was no reason why we should expect anything else, as Jamie McMurray obviously is going to savor this moment as much as he can. We've seen other Daytona 500 winners emotional at this thing, but you just can't fault them for any type of emotion they're feeling right now.
If I'm Jamie McMurray, I'm going to build a house right here in Victory Lane. I'm going to savor it as long as I can. And you know, he's sitting in the car. Everybody's come up and spoken to him. Felix, his family, Bono. I mean, the whole group had. And that's, I mean, you want to enjoy that.
And you know what group now Chip Ganassi enters? A very select group. Roger Penske's won the Daytona 500 and Indy 500. And now Chip Ganassi has won the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500 with Jamie McMurray.
And the greatest thing about this great American race is that it was won fair and square. I mean, they came to the checkered flag. I mean, this is a well-earned victory.
Steve Meals, a guy who's been around this racing business a long time, as he gives Jamie a hug. Let's take a look back at how this thing happened. Congratulations from the Biff, too. He figured into this thing as well. But let's take you through the last lap in extra innings, or overtime, if you will, here at Daytona at another attempt at a green-white checkered finish. You think this race is Kevin Harvick's? Don't think so soon. Watch how hard these drivers try to win this race.
Well, you know that Kevin Harvick is going to win it, right? I'm thinking right now Harvick's going to win it. and then hold on. I mean, we get on this back straightaway, Kyle Petty, and watch this train on the outside. It's outrageous.
The train comes from the outside. You got Biff pushing. You got the one car. And all of a sudden through the middle, you see the 99. He's trying to make it 3 wide, and from nowhere, these guys push out in front. You say, okay, where's the 88? Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's
running about seventh right there.
He is 7th right here. As they come down to take the white flag here, he's 7th in line. So just watch his moves. They're 3 wide. He's blocked. These guys look like they're checking out. You got Truex, you got Biffle, white flag.
Perhaps one of the most eventful laps we see throughout the entire course of the season is the last lap of the Daytona 500. At this point, it looked like it was anybody's race. Could be the Biff's, but watch out for the number 88. He's going to stop at nothing to get this thing done.
And you know, right here, I really thought Biff had it. Here's Biff with the fastest car, I think, on the racetrack the last little bit, which was Boyer in the 33. He fell in line. I thought he was going to push. They open a hole right there. And my man, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I'm telling you, man, he just stuffed it up in there, bounced off both of them, got himself straight, comes out when he gets to turn 3, he's second.
And at this moment, I'm thinking, Earnhardt's going to win the Daytona 500, but he can only get within a half a car. Like, watch, fans, his car quits closing. Is it going to be Junior? And then all of a sudden, we say it's Jamie McMurray.
Biff gets a push and ends up 3rd. And I mean, it factored in every restart. He and Boyer and Harvick factored in every restart, and here they end up 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
On this Valentine's Day, a little love tap from Dale Earnhardt Jr. to Jamie McMurray, and now there is a lot of celebrating going on in Victory Lane. The 52nd running of the Daytona 500 is in the history books, and the Harley J. Earl Trophy goes to Chip Ganassi, Jamie McMurray, and the whole group at ECR.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. Brought to you in part by TaxSlayer.com, proud sponsor of Bobby Labonte and the TaxSlayer.com number 71 car. And by Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes. Try a new way to indulge in Hershey's.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane from Daytona. There you see the one car is P1 after 208 laps of racing here. A very emotional Jamie McMurray celebrating with car owner Chip Ganassi. And you know what? When we went into this race, no one really expected an hour and 40-minute delay for a pothole on the racetrack, but what we did expect was side-by-side racing and passing because of what we have seen so far in Speed Weeks 2010. Let's take you back to the green flag under beautiful sunny skies at Daytona, the 52nd running of the Great American Race. The green flag was in the air, and it was all Hendrick Motorsports front row. Mark Martin led us to the pole, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on the outside of row number 1.
I think what shocked me right away was nobody was in a hurry, Kyle Petty. Look how spread out this field is going into turn 1.
Yeah, you and I talked about this. This looks like a late race kind of restarter. So I don't know what it looks like. Old style. This is old style. Back to basic. Everybody just gave everybody plenty of room. It's not the blanket over the group like you're going to see as the race progresses. But remember, the racetrack is set all day. It's a 1 o'clock start. This is the hottest the racetrack was all day long.
And you know what? We're talking about going back to old-style racing. I don't think it's been since about 2004 when Dale Earnhardt Jr. had the field covered up that we saw the breakaway packs after a while of two-wide racing.
This was one of the greatest Daytona 500s. What I liked about this was nobody was jammed up all over each other. Handling came in, and here you see right away Casey Kane, and we have a wreck here, and Kyle, I believe, it left rear flat.
Yeah, it looked like the 12 car going into turn 1. We had a good shot of it. Looks like the 12 car kind of as he starts in the corner, it just gets out from under him. He's waving. I think you said he was waving his hand out the window. He just comes back across the racetrack and collects the 77 of Hornish and the 78. And there's nothing. They've got no place to go.
So for Penske Racing, that was 2 of their 3 cars involved in that. Take a look at the backstretch after this as these cars go by. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets out to the lead, just about everybody here at Daytona was back on their feet, and they said, hey, this is the kind of old school racing we like. Back to 4 or 5 years ago when Dale Earnhardt Jr. would always lead, Kyle, at these restrictor plate tracks.
Yeah, and you know what I like about this?
There they are.
These guys are pulling out. There's the crowd just going wild. These guys are pulling out on each other, not because they're being bump drafted by people. They're making moves on them. They're sucking up in the draft. They're pulling out. They go around. Now, and they're policing themselves. We saw a lot of bump drafting, a lot of things happen today, but we saw a lot of great passing today.
And we saw exactly why. You got to race 500 miles here. Kevin Harvick was one of the dominant early cars. But if you take a look at Elliott Sadler, he's got to be commended for a great job early on in this race. He spent most of the time running the top 5.
You know, I looked at Richard Petty Motorsports at different times in this race. With the 9 car, you take Elliott Sadler, you take A.J. Allmendinger, which had he had a great race. He had a great race last year, but he had a great race not to have any results for it. And then, of course, Casey Kane, who's won. I think the Fords asserted themselves here this week.
Some 7 hours ago, I thought A.J. Allmendinger might win this race. Now, here is Joe Nemechek getting sideways, and Rex, now, he did not get hit. He just got loose. And
whoa, Kurt Busch just barely missed him.
FrontRowJoe.com, what a great job qualifying for the 500, but ends up spinning out.
It's a good thing for Kyle Busch that this is a very long race. He overshoots the pits, and this cost him plenty of positions on the racetrack. Got to get back in the box before you can get your service.
You cannot attack these pits. Look at this. Here's the 43 sliding in. The reason you cannot attack the pits is because these are big, hard tires. The tires are super speedway tires. You can attack the pits on short tracks because you got real soft tires. You have to enter the pits here a little slow.
A.J. Allmendinger had been out front for 11 laps leading the race, and that was very disappointing for him to get relegated back to the pack. But a guy bouncing back from a bad pit stop was Kyle Busch.
You know, I think the Toyotas, I was surprised. Everybody led at some point in time. If you look at manufacturers, the lead cars in each manufacturer group led at some point in time. And he absolutely gets pushed to the front, takes the lead on his own. As you saw him go around there wasn't somebody tucked up under him. There was a couple of car lengths in between. So, as I said, I really, truly believe from a passing standpoint, we always hear, well, this was a great race because we had 97 million lead changes. Yeah, they all happened on pit road. Today, they all happened on the racetrack.
And that's where we wanted to see it. What did we learn in the first 100 laps about what was to come?
I'm not sure what we learned in the first one. You know, and the reason I say that is because the race finished under such different circumstances. I don't think we would have ever guessed that the racetrack was going to come apart and we were going to be sitting here at 8 o'clock.
Oh, Kenny told me, sitting there right there, he said, Jamie McMurray's going to win and we're going to have a big white patch on the racetrack. No, he didn't. I'm kidding.
I am humbled. I am humbled.
No one knew that.
But you know what you said, what did we learn? What we learned is it was a very unpredictable race. We didn't know who was going to win, you know, and then the pothole was so extreme. That was not wrote into the script. I mean, we start the race at 1:30, and it's nighttime, and it's 50 degrees colder outside. So I think that's what made a lot of other guys, you know, rise to the occasion.
Clearly one of the most unpredictable races ever today, but also the Daytona 500 in and of itself is always completely unpredictable.
It's always been unpredictable. I think if you go back and you look at some of the past winners, you think, man, where'd that come from? Today, I think it's even more so because of the competition level. We talked about how many first-time winners or one-time winners that we've had here over the past 7 or 8 years. I guess this is what, the 9th different winner over that many years or whatever it is. But I think when you look at some of that stuff, this is a race, no matter how big, you don't know who brings heart. And these guys brought heart.
9 years, 9 different winners, and now Jamie McMurray is one of the 34 drivers that have claimed the Harley Earl Trophy here at Daytona. You better bet there's going to be a lot of celebrating going on at that point. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed. The #1 of Jamie McMurray is now in Victory Lane at Gatorade. And you better believe that team is going to do a lot of celebrating tonight because it was a long, hard race and a very unpredictable finish towards the end. When we left you after the first 100 laps, it looked like Kevin Harvick was in control of this race, but we still had 100 laps to go and a lot of twists and turns along the way. Let's pick it back up with Harvick's teammate, Clint Bowyer, going to the lead.
I mean, did Clint Bowyer get shot out like a rocket? Looked like he had 100 more horsepower than anybody. So here he goes, Kyle, and we're thinking Kyle Busch is going to make an attack on Clint at the end of the back straightaway.
You know, Clint Bowyer, I want you look at this 24 car close that push and that 16. I mean, it looked like they were 20 car lengths behind, but you know, Clint Bowyer was one of the fastest cars all day long, and that caught me off guard because I really hadn't paid any attention to him. Early in the broadcast, or early this morning when we were doing race day, I said, watch these drivers' hands. Did you see Junior's hands in that car coming off? He was dead right 2 or 3 times.
And it was fun. Like with that patch, did you maybe hit that patch on the racetrack that maybe could have damaged that tire or anything like that? Man, that particular lap, I did go to the bottom to make sure I was down to pit for coming back around. I didn't feel it hit anything though, or I'm confused.
A sign of things could come, and it confused a lot of us because some of the asphalt came up on the racetrack. And after this incident with Jimmy Johnson, which damaged his race car pretty severely, we had to go to a very, very long delay as the crews got out. They wanted to fix that patch. 141 minutes worth of rain delay. Well, it was a rain delay because there was rain underneath the racetrack, and it was cold, so the earth expanded and busted the asphalt.
President Brian France, Brian France said that, look, we've had so much rain, unseasonably cold weather, and he feels like that might have buckled the track up and caused the hole.
Really, I just thought it was part of the old school back to basics. We were going to run twin 100s like they used to. double point races. Hey, because that's what it ended up being, a first half of the race and a second half of the race.
I really liked the halftime. Everybody got a sandwich, drank a beer, and it was time to come back for the second half.
Not the drivers, but you know, I know what you meant.
I know what you meant. When they said back to basics, I guess they wanted to get back to the sand, back to the beach.
Yeah, and these guys jumped in these cars and went right back over that. And you know what amazed me was these guys went right over that patch like it was fixed. They trusted NASCAR. They trusted those guys to have that thing fixed. And these guys went right back to 3 and 4 wide racing.
Elliott Sadler gets in the middle of the pack, and we see how quickly when you get out of the draft, you get shuffled back.
And I must say that Elliott Sadler was very, very strong. But Elliott and Casey Kane team cars, they both faded. Elliott almost spun out. That's why he faded.
All right, speaking about spinning out, well, take a look at another RPM Richard Petty Motorsports car. A.J. Allmendinger had led for 11 laps, but that all came to an end here.
Kyle, I think that all the Richard Petty Motorsports cars were set up the same way because they all started getting loose.
As the racetrack seemed to get cooler, as things begin to change, these cars begin to fight. If you looked at A.J., there he was fighting that thing up off the corner. You saw the 19 car, and Casey ended up having trouble too. Here we had to stop the race again, and we're back out patching. And this is a huge patch, but these guys were convinced, and they said over the NASCAR radio, this time we know how to fix it. We understand when it comes up the next time how to fix it, and they did.
Such a difficult situation for NASCAR to be in. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't. You can't end the race this way, but you also want to make sure it's safe for the drivers.
It has to be safe for the drivers. There was great footage of throwing up the gravel and the rocks. You catch a rock the size of your fist through a Lexan window, it's going to hurt somebody. And I'm telling you, man, NASCAR did a great call by stopping it.
Yeah, you simply can't have guys with their right wheels going through a pothole. Now we have about 9 laps left to go. Look at Denny Hamlin. He comes charging because everybody knows now you're inside of 10 laps to go in the Daytona 500. It is go time.
And Juan Pablo Montoya sideways, and now all of a sudden Denny Hamlin is saying, wow, that's what it's like. I mean, they come flying by you as a fan, and watch this. Watch the 48. Here we go. Look at this, race fans. He's got problems. He's going to come in here. I think he broke an axle. It put him out of the race.
And that's what he said. The thing was only pulling off one wheel. And that may not sound like a lot to you guys sitting at home, but let me tell you something. When you come off of turn 4 at Daytona, pulling off one tire, it's wicked.
Clint Boyer finished 4th last time we raced here, and he was going for 1st this time as he goes around Greg Biffle. But again, with just a little time left in this race, there was still a lot of racing left to go. As we look in the back, we see the 19 of Elliott Sadler get loose, gets into Ryan Newman. He gets the wall, but fortunately, everybody was okay after that one.
And you know what? This goes back to what we were talking about a minute ago. All the Richard Petty cars started getting really loose, and Elliott just spins it out, but Ryan is okay.
And this restrictor plate racing has not been kind to Ryan Newman over the past couple of years. I'm sure he's glad to see this place in the rearview mirror and go on to the next race. Now the 21 and the 20, that's Bill Elliott, Joey Logano. You know, Bill Elliott won this race 23 years ago. Joey Logano wasn't born yet. But still, they got together on the racetrack.
They got together going in turn 3, and I'm really not sure that Bill knew that the 20 car was there because he just kind of eased up into him and they locked together.
What a great move here by Kevin Harvick, not to be denied. He's all over the back bumper of Martin Truex. Look at Greg Biffle save that car.
That's what I'm saying. Race fans, how can you ask for a better race? What else do we want? This is the greatest race, and look, we're still wrecking.
Casey Kane, Robert Richardson Jr. into each other. Not a good deal.
No, and that wreck was caused by what happened going into turn 1. When you look at Biff working on the car or steering that thing, the wreck started going in turn 1.
What else do the fans want, Kenny Wallace? Well, they want to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. come charging. It looked like it was all Jamie McMurray at this point as we headed towards the last lap. Greg Biffle had another shot at him, as did Martin Truex Jr. But as Kyle pointed out earlier, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was running about 7th or 8th right now. And here he comes up as we try to go for the first white flag. Well,
I'm thinking to myself, Biff, you're going to go for this win. early. He makes the move. Kyle Petty 1 full lap before the finish.
Yeah, 1 full lap before and you see the 88 run down in there and almost get jammed up a little bit at that point. But these cars with this restrictor plate and with this package, they gathered up steam, and these guys head down the backstretch.
And I think that the 33 of Clint Boyer helps Jamie win this Daytona 500. And this is just an incredible race.
So here we go to the checkered flag for the final time here in the Daytona 500 as Jamie McMurray holds off a charging Dale Earnhardt Jr. to win the Daytona 500. And Jamie is getting loaded up here on Victory Lane, and he will join us here in just a moment. After this break, the celebration is on, and we assure you it will go on long into the night. NASCAR Victory Lane, we're coming back your way in just a minute.
What would it mean to you to win this race?
Well, I mean, it would be certainly be the biggest win of your career, and I think every kid growing up, dreams about winning the Daytona 500. I did, and I remember Matt Kenseth last year is probably the best memory I have is walking up to his car and seeing him about to cry. And I don't want to call him out on TV right here, but it's just what it means to all of us. We all grew up racing stock cars, and to be able to win the Daytona 500 is a really big deal.
That was earlier today. Now Jamie McMurray's lifelong dream has come true. Jamie, you are a champion of the Daytona 500. Let's quickly take you back, have you look at these last 2 laps with us, and take us through exactly what happened from your standpoint behind the wheel of this race car. What's going on here, Jamie?
Well, I spun the tires, and I'm really good friends with Greg, and I knew that Greg knew to benefit him also. He had to push me and we had to try to clear him, and he pushed me literally from the middle of 1 and 2 all the way down the backstretch, and we've got one of the rear end housings in that has the car all skewed out, and I was paranoid. I'm like, man, it's going to spin me out if he gets a hold of me too much. But he got a hold of me right off the corner, and he shoved me all the way down the backstretch, and we both cleared the 29 car. And guys, you don't really know what to do at this point. I haven't led the race the whole day until right now. And I'm like, do I need to judge both lanes? What do we need to do? And we got quite a ways out ahead of him. And then Greg got a huge run back on me. And I thought, I'm still going to finish second or third. And I'm okay right now with this because, it's a huge points day for you. And to start out that way, it just makes your season. But the 29 car, if you guys look here, in the second, pulls out to help me going down the backstretch. Or the 33, I'm sorry. The 33 car pulls out just a little bit, and he gets a hold of me. And when he pulls out behind the 16, my car just accelerates, and I get ahead of the 16. I don't know where the 88 came from.
Nowhere.
Nobody knows either.
Right.
Out of nowhere.
Nobody knows. What's
Jamie, how hard is your heart beating right? How much adrenaline is pumping through your body at this point?
I don't want to say this, but when we crossed the white flag, I was like a wreck because I was leading. I was like, let it be over, But and when I saw the 88 behind me, knowing Earnhardt's, the record at this place, I thought he's going to get a run just like Greg did, and I'm not going to be able to be back to the finish line. And at this point right here, I started crying because I thought it's over, and I just fulfilled a dream. I don't know how to say that. You guys interviewed me earlier, and I said that, and I listened to you, Kenny, the other day talk about the 150s, and you said you told everyone, you said I woke up and I prayed,
Yes.
and I'm a huge believer in prayer. And I woke up this morning and I got beside my couch, and I was like, safety first, and I just want a top 10. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just want a top 10. I would love to win, but I just want to finish good. I just want to start off good with this new team, and anyone who's been in the sport and has had struggles, you guys, you understand, you want to do well, and when you leave, I've never if you guys look at my record, I think 19's the best I've ever finished in the Daytona 500. I'm good at plate tracks, but I don't ever finish good here. So I thought I just want to start off on a good note, and and man, God answered my prayers. I'm here in Victory Lane right now, so it's just unbelievable, guys.
Yeah, I want to ask you a quick question. We talked all week, and I'm gonna be honest with you, we never talked about you.
I'm okay with that.
I know. You even told God, just get me in the top. Here's my point. One thing we set up here, and we can talk about all day long, is cars and technical stuff, but we can't talk about that right there.
Right.
How much heart was in that last lap?
Well, honestly, I restarted fourth the restart before, and I was leading coming off turn 2, or I was in second off turn 2. And so you just don't know. If you're going to spin the tires, what's going to happen. And Harvick did exactly what he did in the shootout. He pushed the guy on the outside, and he dove to the inside. And fortunately, those guys got a little, sideways and lost their momentum. So, you just don't ever know what's going to happen. But I can assure you, if they had a scale on the throttle pedal the last lap, it would have had a lot of pressure on it. I mean, you're just pushing as hard as you can, and you're just, honestly, I mean, when you go down the backstretch and I'm ahead and I see the 88 behind me, you're just a sucker. I mean, you can't back up to him, or you're pushing the gas as hard as you can, and you hope that the wind will benefit you, that they don't get a big enough draft.
We talked about this victory meant to be. Your sponsors from Springfield, Missouri.
You helped me out there.
You're from Joplin.
Yeah.
The stars aligned perfectly.
Right. Well, and my first race back with Chip Ganassi and Felix, EGR team, and it's kind of crazy because I won on my second start the last time I joined this team, and then I come back and I went on my first race back with them. But it's really cool because Johnny Morris from Bass Pro Shops is over there in Victory Lane, and he loves NASCAR racing. This guy is a huge race fan, but he loves restrictor plate tracks. That's what he loves. Daytona and Talladega are his tracks. And he was as happy as I was over there in Victory Lane. I mean, I think it's one of his dreams also to be able to come here and win. And I sat on the pit box twice, and I was running 15th when they were fixing the racetrack. And I was looking at him, and I was wanting to tell him, like, we're going to win. But I thought, I'm not sure at this point we are, So, but it's really cool to get to be here, and I can't believe it.
Hey, Jamie, our friends at Sunoco would like you to sign that flag for a lucky fan who's going to get that and celebrate part of your Daytona 500 victory. And we want to congratulate you once again. You are now a Daytona 500 winner, and nobody can take that away. And it proves that nice guys can finish first. Each year on NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, one lucky fan will receive a Sunoco checkered flag autographed by the winner of the race. This time, Jamie McMurray. Enter online at Speed TV at keyword Sunoco to get the flag. The history books here at Daytona tell us only 34 drivers have won the Daytona 500, but correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there are only 2 race team owners who have won the Indy 500 and the Daytona 500, Roger Penske being one of them and Chip Ganassi being the other one. Chip, I hope that grin doesn't leave your face for weeks to come, because this is such probably unexpected for most people, maybe not your group, but such an honor to be part of the people who have won the Daytona 500.
I'll tell you, John, when you just sit here and you think, I look back as a little boy just wanting to go racing, and you don't know what to say when these things happen. It's when you think about it in those terms, it's incredible. It's a great sport to be involved in. Like you meet great people, and I've been blessed to have great partners, and I've been blessed to have some great results and work with great people. I mean, you don't know what to say about those things.
Chip, I came to your office 2 years ago wanting to know if you would let me run one of your cars in the Daytona 500, and you were very nice to me, but you were distraught. Nothing was lining up. You've come a long way.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we worked hard at it, and you every year, people have you going out of business, and they have you doing this, and they have you doing that. Yeah.
Good
That's our job.
No, not you, but him and Spencer had me out of business a couple times, and no, just kidding. But
maybe Spencer.
Yeah, and, just you don't know what to, you don't know. I'm just honored to be working around some great people. And I'm the guy that gets to sit up here and talk about it. But the fact of the matter is, it takes a team of people to do this. What happened tonight?
I'm sitting here and I'm sitting right next to you, and I see the tears of joy running down your cheeks, man. And that says it all. But
it says it all.
Yeah. You come down here and you've won the 24-hour race so many times. That close last time, the last couple of weeks ago, and bitter disappointment there. You've won Indy, now the Daytona 500, and in the rankings, I know this is the biggest thing today, but how big is it to have that trifecta, to have the sports car crown, the champ car crown, and now NASCAR?
Yeah, I don't know, Kyle. I guess it'll sink in. Like, you hear these people say all the time on TV, they go, well, it'll sink in tomorrow. It hasn't sunk in yet. I know what they mean now when they say that, because, you don't think about those kind of things. I mean, you just think about, how hard you work at this, and, I have a lot of, my family's broken over this business, and, you go through a lot of things in this business, and it's great though. It's a great feeling. It's great to be up here. It's great to win this race. It's a great sport to be involved in.
Chip, I want to give him a hug right now. Can I?
No, man.
Yeah, you can
hug.
Hey, I have a question. Looking at the logo you're wearing on your jacket right now, it says Earnhardt Ganassi with Felix Sabates. Is Teresa Earnhardt here?
Oh, I don't think she's here, but she's certainly a part of this. You know, I mean, it's all about, you know, it's all about inclusion today. You know, it's all about, you know, it takes a team of people in every way. It takes a team, and she's certainly a part of it. Yeah, I mean, you know, because she doesn't, you know, because she's not here all the time, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean she's not interested and into it. Believe me.
Okay, question number 2, is Felix here?
He's here. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's here.
You've already seen Felix.
He's here.
Hey, Chip, from a business standpoint, you told us last year, well, having Juan Pablo Montoya make the chase was just so big in terms of advancing your business forward. As the owner, you got to worry about keeping this thing afloat and keeping it running. What does the Daytona 500 victory do?
Well, it certainly adds to that. You know, it certainly builds upon that. I mean, that was, you know, we you know, that I think making the chase last year with Juan validated our MO, if you will. You know, I mean, it validated how we do things and how we think and how we run the team. And I would hope that this tonight, you know, validates it even more. You know, I mean, I hope, you know, I think people around the garage know. You know, maybe people outside the industry don't know, or, you know, outside the racing industry. But, you know, we think we're pretty proud of our cars and our team, and, you know, we're lucky we have great engines from RCR, you know, or ECR engines. You know, Richard up there, you know, welcome. They give us great engines to work with, and we have great partners in Bass Pro and, you know, Target and everybody on the team. I mean, it takes all that to do this these days.
Now, this is a tough question. There may not be an answer to it, but what do you think's bigger, an Indy 500 win or a Daytona 500 win?
Certainly tonight, the Daytona 500 win. I'll tell you that.
Good answer.
Chip, congratulations. You're
Thanks,
a Daytona
guys.
500 winner, and nothing can ever take that away.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
What a day it was. It took a long time to get here, but Chip Ganassi, Jamie McMurray, Felix Sabates, the list just goes on. Teresa Earnhardt, they are all Daytona 500 winners. We'll be back with more from the World Center of Racing in a moment. The hottest online source for vehicles up for sale is coming to speed as Copart Sold in Seconds premieres live on March 2nd at 12 Eastern. From parts to perfect, see the cars and meet the owners when Copart Sold in Seconds premieres live March 2nd, 12 Eastern, only on Speed. Now, normally, if your last name is Earnhardt, anything but a win on a restrictor plate track is no good. But for Dale Earnhardt Jr., with the struggles he went through the past couple of seasons, a second-place finish is going to go a long way towards kickstarting this season. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
The end of this 500 was like a chapter from the past. The old slingshot move, the power move. You should have seen this guy. It was awesome. And I tell you what, old school or not, that must have been exciting from behind the wheel.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun from behind the wheel. Amp Energy NASCAR Chevrolet. We had some new tires on the right side that give us a little bit of advantage on everybody in front of us, and they were running on each other really hard. And I just had this run that I'd built up from the drop of the green, and I tried to just maintain it. I tried to go where they weren't, and it worked out for us. You know, those are just all, you know, guesses on my part, and we just lucked out and ended up being able to make it work. But it's frustrating coming down the back straightaway and you look in front of you and just see one car and go, I don't have any more momentum. My run's gone, and I'm not going to pass this last car, you know. So close to winning this thing second time, but I'm proud for Jamie and that whole team. I know them guys pretty well, so I'm happy for them, and we'll take our finish and see what we can do next week.
3 green, white checkers to end that one. It was 3.
I couldn't keep up. I thought it was only 2.
How much was the adrenaline pumping there?
It wasn't too bad. You know, I didn't think I probably won't like this rule overall, but, you know, it's a good rule. It's good for the fans, good for excitement, but it just drags out the end. It's kind of like a basketball game with all them timeouts, you know, just the last 2 minutes take forever. So, you know, that part of it will be frustrating, but, you know, we still were able to. We probably weren't going to make the gains that we made on that last one. I didn't have that really going for me those first 2, so it just gave us more opportunity. We gained a few spots on one, they reset. We gained a few spots on the next one, they reset. So it was good for us. We were 22nd, I think, or so going into the first green white checkers. So 3 green white checkers got us to second. It's pretty cool.
Exciting to see this guy, Junior Nation, back in the top 5.
Well, Bob, you saw the fans earlier get on their feet when Dale Jr. took the lead, but in the offseason, there's probably not been, well, there probably might have had been, but over the years, no one probably put more into getting one car back up front than Hendrick Motorsports put in to getting Dale Earnhardt Jr. up with the other 3 cars.
Well, I have so many emotions and so many thoughts about Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s run in the Daytona 500. First of all, is you, the fans. You all have been, you have been wanting this so bad. He came up one short. So congratulations to all of you, because now you have the faith, and I know you always have, and you'll be rolling on to California. But Dale Jr., race fans, he had to drive that car at the end of the race. And Kyle, me and you were talking about it. He was banging off of people. He was going. He was possessed.
He was. And you know what? There were times we watched the race, and you watch these guys. He's not even in a race. And they're talking baseball box scores and Ricky Henderson. I mean, if you go back and you listen to it, they're all over the place. But when it came time to race, here he is. Now, what I think this does for him is it gets his head screwed on straight at the beginning of the year. He is the calmest, the best place I've seen him, and I've said it all during Speed Week. He's in a good place right now, Dale Jr. He's in the Dale Jr. place. And if he continues this, that's good. But I'm going to warn everybody out there, one race does not make a comeback, okay? So don't put pressure on the kid. Let him find his way at California and at Vegas, and as we move forward, let this team gel, let this team move forward, and let him be Dale Earnhardt this year.
And also, he's second in points right now.
Yes, he is.
That's a little early to talk about that, but he's second in points.
I love it that Kyle gets aggressive and talks like that, because I always say it's all of us. We treat this kid a little more than I think what he should be treated. We put, what's wrong with Junior? I have people call me all the time. What do you think's wrong with Junior? I'm like, he's a race car driver. He's having a tough time, and I think gets Junior just all flustered. But leave him alone. He'll win.
All right, it looks like his head's in a pretty good place right now. Second place at the Daytona 500. And race fans, Speed is searching for the next big showbiz stars, singers, comedians, dancers, novelty acts. Hey, that sounds like Kenny Wallace. To audition, call 1-877-909-3883 or email fasttracktofame2010@gmail.com. This February, Bull Run returns to Speed for a grueling new season. Bill Goldberg will push 12 teams of drivers over almost 4,000 miles to see who cracks first. The stakes are high, $200 grand in cash. The challenges are wilder and the competition is even meaner. Bull Run season premiere Thursday at 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Now, Clint Boyer, the past couple of seasons, has sniffed victory at Daytona. Once again, came up a little short, but he too has something to build on for this season. Let's go back to Bob.
So close for this guy, Clint Boyer. Man, just inches and maybe a couple of restarts away from winning the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I don't know. I needed my teammate behind me. I tried to elect the outside. I think maybe in hindsight that was probably a bad decision. That bottom on a restart for 3 or 4 laps would really go. But, Cheerios, Hamburger Helper Chevrolet, what an awesome race car. Shane Wilson, all these guys. If we run like that, put in performances like that, we're going to be a wreck. And, we're going to be somebody. And I'm excited about it. I wanted to win the Daytona 5 run. It's the biggest race of the year. Very excited, but just frustrating.
It was exciting for us, but it was really exciting. But how does your heart take all those restarts there at the end of the race?
Yeah, it was wild. I kept getting, more frustrated as I fell back. But, the 88 gave me a heck of a shove up there on the outside, and away we went.
2 straight fourth-place finishes for Boyer here in the 500.
Bob, Clint Boyer says if we keep on doing this, we're going to be somebody. I think they are somebody right now because they've had a couple of great finishes in the Daytona 500. They've been to victory lane, and Kyle, this team is for real.
Yeah, they're for real. Clint Boyer's for real, and Childress is for real, here, especially here at Daytona. But here's what I found interesting. He said, we chose the outside lane because I needed to be with my teammate. I should have stayed in the bottom lane. That's where teammate racing and trying to be a teammate sometimes puts you in a bad place. We heard teammates, and you hear it a lot during the year. He didn't go with me. He pushed me too hard. He left me hung out. Sometimes by trying to help people, help somebody else, you hurt yourself. And I think that's what Boyer's trying to say is, I tried to help the 29, but I probably hurt myself in the overall picture of the Daytona 500.
And, this whole Daytona 500 experience for Clint Boyer started out so different. I'm out there at Volusia running my dirt car, and Clint's out there every night racing with me. And then all of a sudden, he gets in a first lap wreck on the racetrack in practice, and you're thinking, wow, this Daytona 500 is not starting very good for Clint Boyer. But, Kyle, you're down here so long. You're down here for 2 weeks, and he had time to get it right.
Yeah, and they got it right. They were the fastest car. If we divide this race up like it is into 2 sections, he was the fastest car in the second set. He was competitive in the first 120 laps or whatever it was. But I'm telling you, man, the way he made some of the moves and the things he did, he understands restrictor plate racing. And this model of restrictor plate car and this plate really matches him.
Well, now that the checkered flag is waved on the Great American Race, it is game on. We're going to pack up this Travel and Roadshow and take it to the other side of the country at Fontana, California at the Auto Club Speedway, February 19th. Coverage begins at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, live on Speed.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. Brought to you in part by Cheerios, 100% natural whole grain oats and only a single gram of sugar. And by DirecTV. To get the most out of your high-def TV, you've got to hook it up to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Greg Biffle also had a shot at this trophy, but let's hear what the Biff had to say after the race after coming in position number 3.
I was half a corner away from the winning the Daytona 500. So, you know, I pushed Jamie, spun his tires on the restart, the final restart, and I was able to push him easy, you know, until we got straight, and then continued to push him all the way to turn 1. And first time in Speed Weeks, I pushed a guy in the corner down there in turn 1 and 2, trying to keep him straight, trying to push him around the corner, and then got locked on him down the backstretch and just shoved us both by a huge amount. So I feel good about helping Jamie get clear and get out front.
Here's the results of the Daytona 500. Jamie McMurray wins. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second. Juan Pablo Montoya rounds out the top 10 as he was involved in a great finish for that Earnhardt Ganassi Racing. Want to thank everybody here at Daytona, and thank you for coming along for the ride.
In Daytona, it doesn't get any more exciting than this. Check out this crowd today. They are revved up, fired up, ready to go. The 2010 season is about to be underway.
Hi, Mom. I'm on TV.
The latest report.
Danica Mania, Dave, is in full force here.
Everybody wants to see Junior win another Daytona 500.
And the bottom line is this: how great would it be some of these sentimental favors win the Daytona 500?
I always have to talk real fast when I do an interview because I never know when y'all are going to cut me off.
This is the time, cutoff time. Michael's done. Back to you, Dave.
So pleased that NASCAR has taken their hands off
Absolutely.
to this restrictor plate racing. Put it back in the driver's hands.
I feel like I have been in the Despain wind tunnel.
Let's not forget what this race is really all about.
Well, it's just going to be a fun, exciting night, hopefully for all of us, including the fans. But, you know, we're about all falling here.
It's YMC.
Hey. Photo finish by a bumper, and Hermie, I'll bet you drivers and teams are monkey see, monkey do kind of guys.
Valentine's Day rose. Special one for Rutledge. Look at that.
Oh,
it's not quite red.
You need to get him a thorn.
Absolutely unbelievable. Maybe a Tim McGraw Valentine to the ladies. What do you, a little something?
Absolutely. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you, and he loves you, he says. But after what I've seen him do here, I'd be worried a little bit.
That was awesome.
Checkered flag in the air. Jamie, baby. Everybody likes Jamie. He's a good kid.
I congratulate you once again. You are now a Daytona 500 winner, and nobody can take that away. And it proves that nice guys can finish first.